It's Black Girl Magic, guys. Grab your makeup, guys. Let's create this beautiful bridal look on my dark skin model. Let's maintain this melanin together. Before we get into it, guys, make sure you subscribe to my channel. If you come across an ad while watching, please don't skip it. Thank you. First, I'll have to clean her skin with the micellar water. This is from Nia Beauty, because as always we need a clean canvas to start on. So I'm using my cotton pad to do that and to hydrate her skin, which is the next step. I'm using my Kiss Beauty hydrating spray, the green Kiss Beauty green tea spray, that's what it says. Then I'm using my flat brush to just seal that spray into her skin. I'm taking my time and I'm very gentle on the skin. I don't want to be harsh on the skin, guys. Don't be harsh on the skin. Next is my hydrating moisturizer. She has a combination skin. Next is my hydrating moisturizer from Amari Code. Omari Code, yes, it's hydrating. I love this moisturizer, and this moisturizer you can use it for all skin type, either dry, oil skin, combination skin, normal skin. This moisturizer is one moisturizer that serves you for all skin type, and it's a very good hydrating moisturizer. So I'm using the Nia Beauty lip balm while I'm waiting for the moisturizer to absorb into her skin. So while prepping your skin, guys, always prep your lips because it's part of your face. So because she has a combination skin, which means oil on the T-zone and the other part of her skin is normal, so I'm going into her skin with a Sweat Stroke Oil Control Tonic from Miss Metic on her T-zone, only on her T-zone where she produces oil. So for other part of her face, I'm using the Omari Code hydrating primer on the other part of her face, because the other part of her skin, which is not her T-zone, is normal. It's not dry, it's not oily, so a hydrating primer is going to work perfectly for that part of her skin. Then for her T-zone, I'm using the Omari Code primer, the matte o'clock primer. I think I use like more of Omari Code Beauty to prep her skin for this makeup. I really love the Omari Code because it's an amazing product. It just gives me what I want. So to apply this matte primer, I'm using my fingers to just tap in. I'm taking it easy and taking my time because I don't want to crack it. So for my foundation, I'm using the Nuban Beauty foundation in W8 and my NARS foundation in Mali. I think this is like the darkest shade of the NARS foundation. I mixed it with the Nuban Beauty because the NARS was a little bit too dark. So because she's dark, I don't want to go too dark on her skin because I don't want her face looking darker than her body. But then I'm matching the face to the neck because her neck is a little bit darker than her body, so I'm matching the face to the neck. If you use the exact shade of the face, like the foundation of, if you match the foundation to the face, that's the word. If you match the foundation to the face, it's going to look dark, like very light, because it's lighter than her neck. So for her blush, I'm using my red eyeshadow, my red cream eyeshadow from my Eye Magically palette, using the part of the beauty blender which I use to apply foundation to apply the blush. This is going to give me like a very easy blend. This is going to blend properly into the foundation. This is a very good tip for you. Just pick this tip whenever you're doing a cream blush. Use the part of the beauty blender which you use to apply the foundation. So for her concealer, I'm using this Nuban Beauty concealer in 046 and 047. So I mix the two shades because I don't want to over highlight. When I'm working on a dark skin, I always want to maintain the skin tone. I want to just enhance the skin. I don't want to make her look whiter or make her look different, because any little mistake you make can easily show on a dark skin. So make sure, try as much as possible not to over highlight. That is one very great tip for you guys working on a dark skin. Don't over highlight, because at this point when you over highlight, this is where you're going to miss it. The face is going to start looking really bright. And to set under her eyes, I'm using the MAC foundation NW45 and my Nuban Beauty loose powder in Sienna. Not MAC foundation, actually MAC pressed powder. So I'm going to blend under the eyes first before I place my powder. Before you do anything under the eyes, guys, make sure you blend to avoid creasing. So I'm just taking little, very little quantity with my brush. I'm barely even picking powder, guys. You don't want under the eyes to be heavy. So set always with a pressed powder before going into the skin with a translucent powder or a setting powder, whichever one you want to use. Both translucent powder is a setting powder, but some setting powders are not translucent. So before going into the skin again with my powder, that's my setting powder from my Nuban Beauty, the Sienna, I have to blend under the eyes again, then place the powder, the setting powder, very little quantity. You don't want the skin looking heavy and you don't want to dry out under the eyes. If you dry out under the eyes, it's going to look really dry and messy. You don't want that. So just blend, basically place the powder every part of the face where I highlighted. I just want to seal the concealer with the powder. Just make sure you're picking very little quantity. So I didn't do cream contour. I'm going to be using my Inglot pressed powder. I just put it in this case. I'm going to be using my Inglot pressed powder. I can't remember the name of the shade, but it's really dark. So that's what I'm going to be using for her contour, or that's what I'm using for her contour rather. So I'm just using it to contour her nose, and this powder is really dark, so I'm not picking so much, and it's highly pigmented, so I'm just taking very little quantity to contour the nose, and I'm using the same powder to contour her jawline, her forehead area, using my slanty contour brush to do that. And again, I'm picking very little quantity, guys. You don't want to have so much on the skin because this powder is really dark. If you pack planes, like if you apply pressure and take so many products, it's going to look really dark, and trust me, you don't want that. After contouring her skin, I'm going to be using my Nuban Beauty finishing powder in 09. This is what it looks like. So that's what I'm going to be using all over her skin to seal everything together, bring it and make it into one layer. I'm blending every part of her face, the concealer or the setting powder rather, and the contour, but I'm avoiding directly under the eye. So to intensify the contour, I'm using my Inglot cosmetic eyeshadow, the orange and the palette, just very little quantity, just to intensify the blush a little bit. So for the eyes, I'm using my Beyond Beauty gel liner as a base because we're going for a black smoky and a glitter. At this point, I wasn't sure what glitter I was going to do, but I know it's going to be like bronze, but not really dark. I was just, working with the flow, but I knew I was going to have bronze on the eyes, like a black smoky eyes and the bronze. So I blend the Beyond Beauty gel liner, which is my base. I blend it properly, and now I'm applying black from my eyeshadow palette using like a blending brush to blend that out. I'm just picking product and adding until I'm satisfied. So to blend it, I'm using this light shade of brown just to blend the demarcation between the crease and the lid. Yeah, the crease, the lid and the brow bone. Just blend it and make sure there is no demarcation. When you're working with a black eyeshadow, guys, you have to be careful because working with a black eyeshadow can really be tricky. So just keep picking products until you're satisfied. The word is build up. Just keep building up. If it's not enough, you can always add, but if it's too much, you cannot reduce. So I'm using like a small brush to apply, to smudge under the eyes with black, taking very little quantity, and I'm using a small blending brush to blend the demarcation out. So this is my e.l.f. pigment glue. I have it on the back of my palm because I want to let it get tacky for a while before applying it on the lid. So after applying that, I'm using my eyeshadow from, this is an eyeshadow from my eyeshadow palette. This is not giving me the bronze shade, it's kind of giving me pink, I don't know, or ox blood, but I was actually loving it. And after blending that, I used that as my base for my pigment. I placed a pigment glue as well, and I went into it with this MK Beauty sparkling pigment on her lid. Whenever you pick a pigment, guys, another tip, whenever you pick a pigment, always dust it out before applying on the lid. I'm not saying you should take out everything off the brush, but dust out excesses so to minimize the excess fallout on the lid. So for her gel liner, to line her waterline and on top of her eyes, I'm using, and her eyelash line, that's the word, I have to keep sounding like a professional. I'm using my Tequila cosmetic gel liner. So I use it to line the waterline and the lash line. So I'm currently lining the lash line, and this gel liner is very black. So this is my England pigment. It has like a pink shade. So I just apply it on the lid because at this point the Gele gel came with the Gele and it was pink. So I just decided to add like a little bit of pink. I'm not using pigment glue because I don't want it really intense. And guys, remember to always blend. Blend, blend, blend like your life depends on it. Blend. So for her lashes, before applying the false lashes, I'm using my Instant Beauty Wink Beauty Instant Volume Mascara before using my false lashes. This is going to put the lashes for me in place, and also if there's excess pigment or excess fallout from the eyeshadow on the lashes, it's going to take it out and give me like a very clean lashes to work with. The lash I use here is the Wink Beauty lashes, and this perfect, it's just perfect for her eyes. I didn't want something really long or something intense. I just want something minimal because her eyes are small. So I'm doing her brows with my Davis brow pencil in number 3. Because she's really dark, I'm applying pressure on this brows because I want it to show. So like I always say, don't apply pressure, but when you're working on a dark skin and you're using the Davis brow pencil in number 3, guys, just apply pressure. If your client or your model is this dark, apply pressure so your brows can be visible. So that's it basically. So I'm just going to conceal the brows using the same shade I used to conceal on the eyes, but this time I'm not mixing it. I'm using the 047, which is darker than the 046, to define her brows. I'm taking very little quantity because at this point, guys, I have my eyeshadow, I have my brows, I have foundation and so many things on the skin. You don't want to pack product, so just very little quantity and you're good to go. Yes, when it comes to makeup, especially for makeup for dark people, a little goes a long way. So I'm using this foundation I use on the skin to just, define the beginning part of the brows and blend with a blending brush. I usually always don't conceal the top of the brows whenever I'm doing the brows, especially when I'm doing the brows after my eyeshadow and my skin work. I usually don't conceal. But for this look, I decided to conceal because of course she's dark. We have to define the brows and make it visible and arranged. So that's why I'm basically, concealing the top of the brows. Nothing much, not like it wasn't looking nice, it was actually. So this is me trying to finish up our face, to blend under the eyes and take out the excess powder. I'm using my small blending brush and my MAC powder in NW45 just to blend the parts where I have powder on, just taking it out. I'm barely even picking products, guys. Don't pack product. To set her face, I'm using the Nia Beauty matte spray to set her face. Just spray, let it dry like 95%, almost completely dry. Then use your beauty sponge to just seal everything together. This helps you seal your look when you're using your beauty sponge to blend out, guys. It helps you seal your look. The blush, the concealer, the contour, the highlight, everything just help you seal that together. So for her lips, I'm just doing what I always do, guys. What I always do for the lip, like the brown liner and nude or pink inside. I always don't know what to do on the lips, or I just love that combo so much. But most times I try to just switch it up a little bit so it doesn't look like what I always do. So for this look, I lined with the brown. I just make sure the lining is clean, guys, because the lip liner is even looking like her skin color. So I just fill inside the skin, inside the lip with a pink from my Eye Magic lip palette. And guys, at every point, make sure you blend properly. So even though I'm still going to have something else on the lips, I have to make sure this is well blended. It's going to be very easy for you to blend, and also it's going to look really nice. So I'm using my Alvo light pink inside the lip, like on top of the Eye Magic cream lipstick. The reason why I use the Eye Magic cream lipstick before the Alvo is to create a base for me, for the Alvo to stay on, because then Eye Magic is a cream lipstick and the Alvo is a matte lipstick, so it just creates a base for me. So right now I'm using my Taos brand, the nude lip gloss, on the lips. That's what I'm doing. It's a little bit darker than what we have on, so it's just helping me to just tint it together. I didn't use clear gloss at this part. I just, used the Towels brand nude lip gloss. So I just asked her to smack and, just keep blending and blending until you're satisfied. Keep blending, just blend to your satisfaction. Guys, I was really feeling this eye look, but at some point I just stopped feeling it. I just wanted my bronze to be intense because what I had in mind was bronze, and the base I used earlier wasn't bronze, so it's making the bronze pigment I have on not to be intense. That's the MK Cosmetic bronze pigment, not to be intense. So I just like a more bronze pigment. Does that even make sense? A bronzer pigment on it, just to give me what I initially wanted. And guys, blend like your life depends on it. No demarcation shall be left. So to finish up her face and also intensify the blush, I'm using my Tehila blush palette. Like the purple in the blush actually comes out as orange when you apply it on the skin, so but from the palette it looks purple, so I already know what it looks like, so that's why I picked it. So to highlight her skin, or what's this called, like add sparkle to her skin, add shimmers to her skin, I'm using this dark shade from my Tehila Cosmetic. Guys, it's not every bronzer, no, not every sparkle you use on every client. As foundation has its shade, concealer has its shade, that's how this also has its shade. This is not a bronzer. What is it called, guys? What is this called? So it has its shade for every skin tone, so I'm using a dark shade which suits her skin the most. So I'm done with the bronzer. I'm just, basically using my finger to put a little bit on the bridge of her nose. So this is me trying to make my liner clean, because when I was applying the lashes, it kind of, smudged the liner a little bit. So this is me trying to make my liner clean. And also to add volume to the lower lashes, I'm using my Wing Beauty mascara. It was actually difficult for me to get this part done because it was really uncomfortable for her, but I tried to make it work. And guys, this is the finished look. I'm just going to give you guys a moment to take this look in, guys. This, I did that. Can you see how everything balanced into her skin? Everything is sitting very well into her skin. Like, this makeup literally came out from her skin, guys. And this is the before and after. Let me know in the comment section if you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you do. Share with your friends, anyone who you think might find this video helpful. Subscribe to my channel, turn on the post notification to my post, and bye.